Ted is our 17-year-old male, and he currently has a tube that has peanuts and some cranberries in it, and he will show you just how fast and efficient he is of not only using his tongue but his paws to manipulate that tube and get the food out. I'd like to also welcome our viewers. This broadcast is live, going all over the world, and we do this twice a day so our folks that listen to us can be a part of everything that goes on here at the Bear Center, within reason, of course. We just had a very heavy rain here. It's been raining all day. It's about 61 degrees right now, and for the moment it has stopped raining, but we were having some really heavy rain and thunder. So Holly is still out, Lucky is in his den, and Honey is in her den. So as soon as the broadcast is over, I will be going to look for Holly and to see if she weathered the weather well. If any of you were watching earlier, you've seen that Dr. Rogers is also here, and he saw Ted stand up by the bird feeder over here and get the food that we had placed on it earlier today. He stood up to do that, and when he did, Dr. Rogers decided, well, this is my opportunity to just see how tall Ted is. And so he took his little measuring rod out of his pocket and passed by Ted, which is no easy thing to do, because when Dr. Rogers gets into the enclosure, that means that Ted wants kisses. Ted will bypass any type of food to get a kiss from Dr. Rogers. So he waited until he got close, and then, of course, Dr. Rogers scratched his chin and gave him his kiss, the kiss that he wanted, and then went and measured where Ted had stood up. Can anybody on the deck, I'm not sure if you were here when he did that, but can you guess? Okay, then you know how tall he is. Ted was about 80.5 inches, so he is quite a large bear. Lucky climbs a tree to get to the platform, but Ted actually stood up and just pulled it to him and ate the goodies that were on top. If I recall what I put up there earlier, it was plums, cut up plums. Excuse me, I just swallowed a bug. Not tasty. It wasn't a kiwi, let me tell you. I'm sorry. It was, we put on plum, kiwi, some apple, and peanuts. So he had quite a feast up there when he stood up to get his treats. Right now you can see that Ted's manipulating and rolling the tube to get the food out of the holes that we purposely made just large enough for the food to fall out of it. I'm sorry, bugs just don't taste good. He rolls it in order to make the food come out, and if that doesn't work, he will put his tongue in to try to retrieve it. Now, bears' tongues, Ted's tongue is about 8 inches long. Most bears' tongues are very long, and they're just a little bit sticky. And because they're a little bit sticky, they can pick things individually up off the ground, much like this little chipmunk is cleaning up what Ted left. Ted can go along there and easily pick up each one of those little tiny peanuts without getting any dirt in his mouth. When we give the bears peanuts in a shell, which is one of their favorites, Ted and Lucky and Holly love the peanuts in a shell. Honey will bypass them. She doesn't like them. But they will put them in their mouth. They crack them with their teeth, and then they spit out the shell through the side, on the side of their mouth, and just continue eating the peanut. They're pretty adaptable critters. During the time that they're out in the wild, if there's berries growing on the ground, one of their favorites is bunch berries. Bunch berries are small. They grow in a little cluster of maybe 4 to 6 little fruits. They can easily pick those up with their prehensile lips. Their lips are very flexible. Or they can pick each one off with their tongue. When we give our bears a handful of grapes or a bunch of grapes, sometimes we'll place it give it to them, and they'll put it right on the back of their paw. And then they will individually pick off each one of those grapes without ever getting any of the vine in their mouth. If they do, they spit it out, eating only the fruit. That's all they want, is just the fruit. A quick story for our pond chatters and for our worldwide listeners. When Ted first came here, his paws, because due to the environment he was raised in and then coming here and actually having to walk on textures, his pads would crack early in the summer. And so one of my jobs as one of his keepers was to massage bag balm into those cracks. And he was never reluctant. He always let us do it. And he was kind of kicked back here in the balsams, all stretched out, paws up, laying on his back. And so my job was to rub his paws. And so I got the bag balm, and in one hand I'm massaging his paws, and the other hand is feeding him grapes, just like he were a little king sitting there and wanting his staff to feed him grapes. And so I'm feeding him grapes, and some of you have heard this story before, but it's a true story. I swear to it, it's a true story. I just happened to have in my single grapes a black cherry. And as I massaged his paw, I put that black cherry in his mouth. He immediately yanked his paw back, telling me that I put something gross in his mouth. And he looked at me as if I had poisoned him, would not give me back his paw. And I continued to say, Ted, just try it. It's okay. It's really okay. And so he finally had enough trust to crunch it with his teeth. And when he did, the taste was wonderful. And so he continued to chew it and let me to massage. He finished it, pulled his paw back again, and I said, What's going on now? And he gave me this look like, what do I do with what I have in my mouth? And so I put my hand down, and this is honest. This is the honest fact. He spit the pit out in my hand. And that little tiny pit became the best Christmas present for a member of my family that I couldn't have given her even $1 million. She wanted that pit so bad because that's something she just loved Ted. So it was a true story, and Ted and I have been buds since he came here in 2007. He readily lets us, with food of course, we don't do anything without a food reward or food treat. Lets a couple of us massage his paws when they start getting sore, and we continue to do that at that point until he finally gets them shut off. Generally, bears shed their paws. That's the black part of their paws. It's kind of like when you wear a moccasin or a sock, it covers their paw. But this part sheds off usually during the hibernation. Ted seems to have problems in the summertime with them cracking. I'm in competition with a little tree frog here that's singing its tunes. So anyway, when his pads start cracking, then we get busy and we use mushroom cream now instead of bag balm, and it seems to make him able to walk better without stuff sticking all over it when he walks. So I'm going to turn to our audience here that's here at the Bear Center and ask them if they have any questions. And if they don't, I appreciate and we appreciate what you folks do out there. You're always listening to us. You're always watching us and telling us where our bears are. In case you happen to see Holly, let me know. You just saw Ted jump, the bird flew. Bears are very aware and have to be aware of everything that goes on around them. And so Ted gets kind of nervous if something might be behind him, like the little chipmunk that's running there. They're very cautious. You'll see them stop and eating and look around. That's just to make sure everything's all right and they can continue doing what they're doing. Do you folks have any questions? The other bears, Holly is out there. I'm going to go find her hopefully in just a few minutes. Lucky is in his den, and so is Honey in her den.
Did Honey switch dens since she was in that den a couple years ago?
Honey used this den. The question is, for everyone listening, did Honey use this den a couple years ago? She used the rock den, and Lucky slept with her in the rock den in 2008. It has not been used as a den since that time. She currently usually sleeps in the window den and is very solitary. She doesn't include anyone else in her den. The question is, has Ted and Honey mated? Never. It's a matriarchal world, and Honey's word to everyone is, you can look, you might be able to smell me, but you cannot touch me. And even though Ted and, yes, that's true, Ted. Even though Ted and Honey were raised together for the first 9 years of his life, they were kept apart during mating season by a fence. And so he shows interest but has never pursued Honey. Now Lucky, although he is neutered, shows great interest, but she just can't stand Lucky.
How old is Holly?
Holly is currently going into 18 months old. She's the newest member of our family here. We let her out of her smaller enclosure this morning into her big world here of 2.5 acres. She disappeared, and we found her. We found her twice, but she didn't want to go back into her den. You cannot force an 18-month-old bear to go into its den. It does what it wants. So we're hoping that she's hungry enough for her bottle that she's willing to come in now. So as soon as I'm finished, we're going to move back there and try to find her and get her into her den.
Are you able to watch that on the TV then?
You can watch it on the monitor. If she comes into her den, she'll be on the monitor, yes. Thank you, folks. We really appreciate everyone listening, and we know that every day that folks come up here, we invite you not only to visit us and learn all about the American black bear, but to also visit the International Wolf Center. We appreciate everything you do worldwide, and keep watching. We have more stuff to give you. Thank you. Bye.